Board was one of the very important sources for that. Your YouTube videos, for the explainers, the MCQ series on different reports, budget, economic surveys, that provided me with very good practice. I also extracted content out of those explainer videos to include in my notes.
Oliveboard का वो मेंटरशिप प्रोग्राम था, उसमें अनिल सर के 2-3 सेशंस हुए थे, तो उन्होंने भी गाइड किया कि क्या अप्रोच रखना चाहिए, अगर मेंस का पेपर के लिए प्रिपेयर करना है तो वो कैसे प्रिपेयर करना है, प्रीलिम्स के लिए अगर अप्रोच रखना है तो वो कैसे रखना है, तो इस तरह से ओवरऑल फिर एग्जीक्यूशन के साथ में हुए।
Hello everyone, very good evening. My name is Varsha Ma'am and I welcome you all at Oliveboard in our today's very important session. So in this particular session, we are going to discuss about new GST rates for agriculture and dairy sector, and we can expect that this topic can have questions from in your phase 1 and phase 2 examination board. Whether we are talking about NABARD Grade A examination or any other agriculture related competitive examination. And we'll also discuss what is the importance of this rationalization, how this GST rates, new GST rates or reduced GST rates has impacted the life of rural like farmers, rural enterprises. Okay, so there are so many important things to be discussed here in today's session. Please share the session among your friends as well so that they also become the part of today's very important session. Okay, so here we are starting our discussion. Share the session among your friends as well so that yeah, all right. So the everything is fine here. Let's start our discussion. New GST rates for agriculture and dairy sector and how these rates will impact the life of the people who are living in the rural part of the country and who are dependent on all these agriculture and elite sector activities. Okay, so all these things will be discussed here, and you should subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the access of all the classes, to get the notification of all the YouTube classes, and you should have the Oliveboard application as well. Okay, and this is a batch aspirants. You can be the part of this special starter preparation of NABARD Grade A examination with the team of Oliveboard, right? Now moving ahead, let's talk about this new GST rates, a boon for agriculture and farmers' prosperity. Okay, so our main topic or main way to discuss is like how these rates are impacting the life of the rural people. Okay, the rural people who are dependent on agriculture practices. Okay, and all such things will be discussed here, right? So let's talk about it. So this new GST, goods and service tax rates, mark a major transformation in the agriculture and dairy sector. Okay, is that changes in the rates? It shows that our country is taking specific measures to boost the life of farmers and who are involved in rural enterprises. Okay, so our Union Agriculture Minister Shri Shivraj Singh Chauhan ji, he termed the new rates a revolutionary decision, and that expresses hope for historic changes. Okay, and that shows that we are working in the direction to boost our agriculture sector primarily. Okay, and what is the impact of these GST reforms? So these GST reforms, changes in the GST rates, okay, how it will impact, let's talk about it. First impact is, see, agriculture machineries GSTs are also lowered. We'll discuss all the things in detail. Firstly, I'm just briefing you like what kind of changes has introduced with the help of these new GST rates, okay, and we'll talk about their impact, and then we'll discuss in detail about all these things. So one thing is, if the GST on agriculture machineries will be reduced, okay, so what will happen? The farming cost will be reduced, and when the farming cost will be reduced, ultimately the farmers profit will increase. Okay, and similarly the solar powered equipments rates are also reduced. Okay, so this is one impact of GST reform. Another impact is, now as per the new GST, okay, as per the new GST, biopesticides and micronutrients will be available to farmers at lowest prices. So when the farmers will get access to these biopesticides, okay, like the living organisms that are killing the pest that is destroying your crop, and the micronutrients which are required by your agriculture crop and the farmlands as well. So when the GST rates on these commodities will be the lowest, farmers will be encouraged to shift towards them, and that's how we are discouraging the use of chemical fertilizers in our agriculture field. So indirectly this is affecting our life, this is affecting the soil physical health as well. Okay, another point is, yeah, in the dairy sector also it is mentioned, even though on the last Friday current affairs session we discussed about this in brief, and here we are talking in detail. Okay, in the dairy sector now there is no GST. Okay, there is zero GST on the milk and cheese, so these products will be available at lowest prices, and that will not only benefit the common citizens but also farmers, livestock owners, and dairy producers as well. Okay, another is GST reforms that will promote integrated farming practices. Integrated, like when the farmers or the people who are involved in agriculture and lead activities, they can do two or a combination of activities on their common land. Okay, so that GST reforms will promote the integrated farming practices. Clear benefits will be visible. So because of these GST reforms, because of this reduction in the GST rates, we will observe a impact in our animal husbandry, beekeeping sector, fishery sector, agroforestry sector, and poultry farming sector. Okay, and with the today's session, we'll also discuss like the GST rates of GST on tendu leaves. Tendu leaves is basically used to roll the BDs. If GST is reduced on the tendu leaves, so that will strengthen the livelihood of tribal communities. And lower GST on commercial good vehicles will make the transportation of farm produce cheaper. Okay, like now the farmers can transport their commodities easily because the GST on commercial goods vehicle is also lowered or it is reduced. Okay, now you can see prices down, profit up. So firstly, I'm talking about in a tabulated format, and then we will discuss about all these things in detail. So it is observed that with this GST reforms, okay, and as per the new GST rates, tractor prices is to reduce, tractor parts to get cheaper. So when the tractor price will be low, okay, and tractor parts are of cheaper rate. Okay, so the farmers will think of following the agricultural mechanization. Okay, agriculture equipments to become more affordable. Obviously, when the prices will be low, so the farmers who are having very low financial base or who are not so economically strong, they can also get this farm implements and they can install all these machines in their farmlands and use them for doing different operations in their farmland, right? Another is solar powered irrigation devices will be cheaper. So when solar powered irrigation devices will cheaper, like we are moving towards zero carbon dioxide emission. We are moving towards zero carbon dioxide emission. Okay, and that will also act as a clean fuel. We are promoting the clean fuel, and that will benefit our environment as well as our practices will be more like more systematic and more eco-friendly practices we are following. Okay, fertilizers to cost less, primarily the biofertilizers. Pesticides to get cheaper, which pesticide? Biopesticides. So we will shift from chemical pesticides to biopesticides. Fruits and vegetables will get cheaper, nuts to cost less, boost to food processing. No GST on milk and cheese. Okay, milk and cheese will be available to you without any GST to pay. Okay, next is promotion of indigenous products, because we are working in Atmanirbhar Bharat practices, make in India, promotion of Indian or indigenous products. Okay, we have different schemes, loans to promote the indigenous products. GST reduced on prepared or preserved fish. Natural honey to cost less, reduce GST on tendu leaves. Okay, so these are the changes we are about to discuss now in detail. Okay, now I'm giving you the detailed impact of GST cut on various sectors. So I told you with the help of a table, like we are observing that there will be the cut or reduction in the GST rates in major agriculture and dairy sector. Now let's talk about all these impacts sector wise. Okay, so firstly we are talking about the impact of GST on agricultural mechanization. Okay, with this new GST reforms, with these new GST reforms, GST on tractor, GST on tractor which are less than 1800 cc, that is reduced to 5%. Okay, that are reduced to 5%. This is one point. And tractor parts like the tires of the tractors, the tubes of the tractors, the hydraulic pumps, earlier they are coming under the 18% tax slab. Now they are coming under the 5% tax slab. So that's how it would be easily affordable to the farmers. Okay, sprinkler, drip irrigation. So basically these are the modern irrigation practices. Okay, we need to form a proper layout to perform all these modern irrigation practices in on our agriculture land. Okay, now on these sprinkler irrigation practices, drip irrigation practices, and we need the harvesting machineries for the harvesting of our finally matured crop. And we need to purchase the tractor parts also, which we are mounting on our tractors so that we can do the different farm or intercultural operations. So earlier they were coming under 12% GST. Now they are shifted to 5% GST. One important point that I want to discuss here. So see, tractor parts are also coming under 5% slab. Sprinkler and these things are also coming under 5% slab. And another fixed speed diesel engines and threshing harvesting machines, composite machines, they're also coming under 5% tax slab. See why they are all coming under same tax slab. See, that is to create more uniformity. That is to create more uniformity and just to eliminate out the confusion that most of us have in our mind, like in which particular test slab this particular part will come. Now, with this GST reform, the commodities or the agriculture machineries or different products who are of the similar type, they will come under the same tax slab. They will come under the same tax slab, so that if any normal or the common person or common man of our country is having any confusion, that confusion will be reduced. There will be more uniformity in the GST rates. Lower tractor prices. So what is the impact of reduction in the GST rate? That is most of like all the tractors and the agricultural machineries, their GST rate is reduced to 5%. So what kind of impact will be observed after having the GST rate to 5%? One is lower tractor prices will make mechanization accessible. Now the small and the marginal farmers, so the small and the medium farmers, they can also get the access to these mechanized tools. Okay, now they can also install these farm machineries in their agriculture field to perform the major farm operations. Okay, when the farmers will install all these machines in their farm fields, what will happen? Their time will be saved, and this time they can use for different purposes. Okay, labor cost will be reduced, and that's how the productivity of the farmer will be improved, because now they are having these machines and they are going to do all the farm operations with the help of these machines in their farmlands. Okay, now moving ahead. You can see the old and new GST differences calculations for various some of the popular agriculture machineries and equipments. Okay, I'm giving you the table. You can have this table. Notes will be available to you on the application of Oliveboard and on the Telegram channel of Oliveboard as well. Okay, you can see, for example, if I am talking about tractor which is having 35 horsepower. The tractor which is having 35 horsepower, its basic cost of agriculture machinery and equipment, its basic cost is 5,80,000 rupees. And present GST rate, which is at 12%, that is 69,600. and total cost with GST. So after adding on the GST in it, its cost is 6,50,000. Okay, now if we talk about the revised GST rate, okay, its GST rate is revised and now it is 29,000 is the GST. And with this revised GST rate, the new cost of the tractor, which is having 35 horsepower, it will be reduced to 6,09,000 only. And if we look at the saving, like how much the farmer can save with the help of new GST, see, you can see at 12% GST, it was 69,600. With 5% GST, it is 29,000. And you can see there is a reduction of 41,000. Okay, so the farmers can save extra 41,000 with the help of new GST reforms. Okay, so these new GST reforms is acting as a boost to our agricultural farmers. Okay, so as like you can see the prices of other agriculture machineries and equipments also. Okay, I'm giving you the complete table, right? No, you don't need to buy hard the table, Anjali. You don't need to buy hard the table. Okay, that table I'm just giving you so that you will have a basic idea about it. What you have to buy hard the GST rates, like for all the agriculture machineries, earlier they were coming under the 18% slab, 28% slab, 12% slab. Now they all are reduced to 5% slab only. Okay, and this is just a basic calculation that I'm telling you. Okay, this is a table and this is a basic calculation. Okay, you need to learn the MRP, MSP of the agriculture commodities, which we had discussed in our one session. Okay, there I took a complete session related to the MSP. You need to learn the MSP of all the 23 agriculture commodities. That is important. Here, what you have to know, you just need to know about the GST slab under which our different commodities are falling. Okay, clear? Got it? Now, firstly, we discussed about the agriculture mechanization. Now we are moving towards the fertilizers. So we need to supply the different fertilizers in our agriculture field so that our soil will have efficient amount of nutrients in it so that it can be supplemented to our agriculture crop, and that's how we'll get a good agriculture productivity. Okay. So ammonia is needed by our agriculture crop, sulfuric acid, nitric acid. So earlier they all fall under the 18% tax slab. Now the GST on these commodities has reduced to 5%. Okay, so fertilizers comes under 5% tax slab. Okay, so what kind of benefit we will have? Reduction rates will correct the inverted duty structure for fertilizer production. Okay, so when they will come under the 5% tax slab, the inverted duty structure will be more corrected. Okay, for the fertilizers production. Okay, so now fertilizer production will be in a more healthy manner, right? Next is about, yeah, biopesticides and micronutrients, as we already discussed in the beginning of today's section. Okay, why biopesticides? Earlier, see, for example, whenever we talk about the organic foods are more costly than the normal food items we consume. For example, if you are going to the market to buy 1 kg apple, so it will cost you 120 rupees per kg. But you are going for organic product, okay, farmland to field, what it is, I'm not getting the exact term. So if you are going to the market to buy the organic apple, it will cost you nearly 250 or 300 rupees per kg. Okay, so why these organic food items are more costly? Because you are using biopesticides in these fields. You are using biofertilizers there. You are using the micronutrients which are not adding extra chemical to your field. Okay, because they are more costly, that's why the farmer have to ask you more money if you want to purchase the organic food items from them. But if the biopesticide cost will be reduced, micronutrient cost will be reduced, these commodities, these pesticides will be available to farmer at lowest prices. And when this biopesticides and micronutrients will be available to the farmers at lowest prices, then farmers will follow them, farmers will start using them in their agriculture field. And that's how we are moving towards the regime of biopesticides and micronutrients. Okay, so 12 biopesticides and several micronutrients. Okay, GST cut from 12% to 5%. Okay, so on the 12 biopesticides and several micronutrients, GST cut from 12% to 5%. Okay, so 12 biopesticides and several micronutrients. So their tax slab earlier they were coming under 12% tax slab. Now they will come under 5% tax slab. Okay, what you are observing from all these informations that we are discussing, and that is a easy way to learn also. See, all the agriculture machines they are coming under 5% tax slab. Okay, fertilizers are coming under 5% tax slab. And similarly, the biopesticides and micronutrients, they are also coming under 5% tax slab. Okay, so bio-based inputs, so that's how the bio-based inputs will be more affordable. And that's how we are promoting the eco-friendly practices and sustainable agriculture practices. Okay, so it will encourage farmers to shift from, so that's how the farmers will shift from chemical pesticides to biopesticides, and that's how they will start using these commodities in their agriculture field that will improve the health of the soil as well as the quality of the crop. Okay, direct benefit will be given to the small organic farmers and FPOs, farmers producers organization and the government national mission on natural farming. Okay, so it is easy to learn. Give me a thumbs up if you are getting all these points. Give me a thumbs up that the things are clear in your mind now. See, agriculture machines, they are also under the 5% tax slab. Fertilizer is also under the 5% tax slab. Biopesticides and micronutrients are also under the 5% tax slab. So this is an advantage. Another thing. Another important, yeah, they are also now as per the new GST, as you might have covered it in the current affairs session. So earlier there were multiple slabs in the GST. Now we have two slabs only, one highest slab, the lowest slab, and for the high levied services, there is 41% slab. Okay, so for fruits, vegetables, and food processing. Okay, so all the prepaid and preserved vegetables, fruits, and nuts, they will also come under 5% tax slab, right? And what is the advantage of this? So when all these preserved vegetables, fruits, they will fall under the 5% tax slab. So what impact it will cause? It will boost the cold storage practices of these commodities. Food processing will be enhanced and value addition will also get a boost. Okay, wastage of perishable will be reduced, ensuring farmers get better, and the farmers will start getting the better prices as well. And that will also promote. So when we have all these commodities available to us in good concentration, like we are having enough that is sufficient for our population, will have enough processed food that we can export to other countries as well. So that's how it will promote the export of processed food and strengthen India's position as an agri-export hub. Okay, so the vegetables, fruits, and processed food, they will also fall under the 5% tax slab. Now, dairy sector. So if we talk about the GST in the dairy sector, the one important point what I am thinking that you will definitely have one question related to this in your exam, like related to which of the following agriculture commodities will not have zero GST or will not fall under any GST tax slab. So that are milk and the cheese. Okay, there will be no GST on milk and cheese. Okay, and if we talk about the butter ghee, okay, their GST is also reduced. So earlier they were falling under the GST slab of 12%, and now it is reduced to 5%. Okay, now the dairy farmers products made, they are more competitive. Okay, milk cans, like if the can is of iron, steel, or aluminum, now at 5%. So earlier they were also coming under the 12% GST slab. Now they will also come under the 5% GST slab. Okay, so that's how indigenous dairy products will get a boost. Okay, indigenous dairy products will get a boost from this, right? So one thing is interestingly clear to you guys, like most of the agriculture sector commodities, they fall under the 5% tax slab. Okay, they fall under the 5% tax slab. Next is if we talk about the aquaculture. Okay, if we talk about the aquaculture, so that aquaculture is coming under GST on prepared or preserved fish. That is also so earlier it was coming under the 12% tax slab, and now it will come under 5% tax slab. Okay, when GST on the aquaculture or all these prepared or the fish, preserved fish will be reduced, so what kind of impact it will cause? Likely to encourage aquaculture and fish farming nationwide, right? And honey, similarly, GST reduced on natural honey, benefiting beekeepers, tribal communities, and rural self-help groups. Okay, and GST on artificial honey, whether blended honey with natural or not, the GST is also earlier they were coming under 18% slab, and now it will fall under 5% slab. And similarly, the natural honey, it will also fall under the 5% tax slab. Okay, and solar powered equipment. So about the solar powered equipments we discussed in the beginning of today's session as well. So GST on solar power devices, it is also reduced from 12% to 5%. So when the GST on solar powered equipments will be reduced, like these are available at affordable prices for all, so that the small and the medium farmers, they can also purchase them. Okay, and when they are having this solar plates or solar equipments installed in the agriculture field, so the irrigation cost will be reduced, and that will also help the farmers in one or the another way. Okay, and similarly on the Tendu leaves, the GST earlier it was coming under 18% tax slab, and now it will come under 5% tax slab. Okay, like most of the farmers or the people, tribal populations living in the states like Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh. Okay, their livelihood depends directly or indirectly from collection of the tendu leaves and then rolling of the BD leaves from it. Okay, so when GST on these tendu leaves will be reduced from 18% to 5%, what will happen? That will strengthen the livelihood of these commodities in these states. Okay, they will have more now livelihood about like more advantages and the beneficial options available to them. Okay, so that's all about the GST thing. Now let's talk about the another important point. So one thing that should be clear in your mind, whether it is about, like I'm mentioning it here, whether it's about the agriculture machineries, whether it's about the fertilizers, okay, or the biopesticides, or our fruits, vegetables, and processed food, or our aquaculture sector, or our honey and tendu leaves, okay, and the dairy products. Now one thing that is common, now it is more easy for you to learn, guys, like all these agriculture and farm sector commodities, they will fall under 5% tax slab. Okay, so these commodities will fall under 5% tax slab. So you need to learn them. And what we can expect, like there will be the question like earlier the tendu leaves will come under which tax slab? So they were under the 18% tax slab. Okay, so you should make the notes of this and you should learn it. So on the whole, if we are about to say about it, so GST rationalization in agriculture, it's a farmer. So what we observe that, so the new rationalizations, okay, is when we observe this rationalization in the GST, now it emerged out as more farmers friendly. It is pro-rural to promote the livelihood opportunities in the rural areas and pro sustainability reforms. Okay, so to maintain the sustainable agriculture practices and other practices. Okay, so that is allowing the lowering cost for farmers, boosting the cooperatives and the farmers producer organization, and as well as strengthening the food security. The boost in agriculture will happen at a multi-layered level and also to all its allied activities, and the farm productivity will increase. Okay, thank to reduce, now when the fertilizers will be available at lower prices, farmers will have an access to biopesticides and micronutrients. What will happen? Their farm productivity will be more increased. Cold storage and agri processing will gain because the processed food will also come under the 5% tax slab. Okay, and mechanization will increase because agriculture machines will be available at reduced GST to the farmers now. Okay, in addition to all this, aquaculture, dairy farming, cooperatives, they will also come into the same category, and that will also become more profitable. Okay, so that's how the GST, that's how the new GST rates, they are more inclined for the development of agriculture sector of the country, and that's why the new GST rates are appeared as a boon for agriculture and rural's prosperity. Okay, so this is all about it. Now moving ahead, you can see the benefits of the GST rate rationalization. So what kind of benefits the farmers will get because of this GST rate rationalization? So first benefit, now the tax structure is more simplified. How? Because most of the agriculture, dairy and other enterprises, as I already discussed with you, they are coming under the one slab, that is 5%. Earlier there was some in the 12% tax slab, then some in 18% tax slab, and there was some in 28% tax slab. So that create a lot of confusion. Now they are all falling under the same tax slab, that is of 5%. So now we are having more simplified tax structure. And another benefit is now mostly almost all food products, they are coming under the reduced prices. So that's how the ease of living will be more promoted. Like now the food commodities will be available to farmers at the lowest prices. Okay, and that's how all the individuals in the country, all the common person can able to buy them, and that's how the standard of the living will be more improved. Lower prices will boost demand. So when the things will be available at lower prices, what will happen? The demand for food products will increase, and investments will expand, and employment generation will be more. And another benefit of GST rationalization is it will support the manufacturing. Okay, correcting. So this inverted duty structure boosts domestic value addition and export. See what happens, like you might have seen that Diwali especially, or other festivals also, what we are doing, we are purchasing this light and other electronic gadgets from other countries, from where we will get all these commodities at lowest prices. But what if all these commodities will be available to us at lower prices, which are made in India as well, in our country only? So what will happen? We will not depend upon the imported commodities. Okay, so that's how when the GST on biofertilizers will be reduced, GST on micronutrients will be reduced, we will not about to purchase all these commodities from any other external market. Okay, we'll be having sufficient enough at nominal prices that we can sell to our farmers. So that's how domestic value addition will get a boost and export will get a boost. Okay, revenue generations will be more better through broader base and better compliance. Okay, resolving classification issues. So this is a major issues, like the people who like the laymen face a major issues like that. What the farmers are not so educated, right? We know that. And the other people who are living the rural part of the country, they are not so educated. So they are confused when we are having the different tax slabs. Okay, but when all the commodities will fall under the same rate slab, same tax slab, so it would be easy for us to know about it. So that will reduce the disputes, and that will also reduce the litigation cost. Sometimes it happened and look, you had purchased something and literally you realize that you had purchased it at a higher price. So you will file that petition and there will be the litigation, like to clarify the things. Okay, so when all the commodities will fall under the same category, so the litigation cost will be reduced, like the people will not have more confusions, and then how the disputes will be more reduced. Okay, so these kind of benefits you will get. Now if we talk about the analysis, this is very important. Okay, this is a very important. So this is a very important point related to this GST reform. As I earlier told you, earlier we have all the commodities, not only the agriculture commodities, all the commodities will fall under the four tax slab: 5%, 12%, 18%, and 28%. Now, as per the new GST reform, we are having only two main rates or two main slab. One is a 5%, that is a merit rate, and another one is a 18%, that is a standard rate. Like most of the agriculture commodities, they are falling under 5% tax slab. And there is a special rate for sin and luxury goods, and that is a slab of 40%. Okay, and these rates will be effective from 22nd of September 2025. Okay, this thing should be highlighted in your notebook, from which date these new rates will be effective. So they will be effective from 22nd of September. Okay, and the food processing sector has been a major beneficiary in this rationalization of tax slab with most, like now the most food products, they are coming under the 5% GST slab. So this new GST reform is created in such a manner that our food processing sector will get a good boost from this. Okay, now these things are clear to you. And this rationalization of GST to lower levels, what it will do, it will provide a boost to the mostly sectors of our country, and that's how virtuous cycle of economic growth through following. Okay, that virtuous cycle of economic growth will also get a good boost. So simplified tax structure, which I already told you. So earlier we have four tax slabs, so they always are confusion in the minds of the farmers, like we are purchasing this commodity, in which tax slab it will be about to have. Now we have all these agriculture commodities falling under one tax slab of 5%. That's it. Now we don't need to worry about other tax slabs at all. Reduced prices. Okay, now overall price, food prices will be reduced, and that's how all the staple food items, okay, all the staple food items will be available to all the individuals in the country at affordable prices. Okay, and that's how the customers demand will be increased. FMCG and packaged food businesses will be more, get more boost. Additionally, the simplification aid businesses by reducing compliance costs and lower litigation risk. Okay, inverted duty structure, which I had already explained you. Why we whenever we go to the market, okay, we have two options available to us. One commodity which is indigenous, which is manufactured in our country, but it is available at the highest cost. Another commodity of the similar type, but it is imported from another country to our country, and still it is having a lowest cost. So what we will feel, what we will do, we will purchase the second commodity because it is available to us at lowest prices. But what if all these indigenous commodities will be available to us at lowest prices? We will be more inclined to these indigenous commodities, and that's how what will happen. We don't need to get an import of these commodities from other countries, and that's how we will start preferring or following the Atmanirbhar or the self-reliance practices in our country. Okay, made in India practices. Okay, another resolving classification issues. Yeah, so earlier there was, it is a loose paneer, it is a packed paneer, it will come under this tax slab, it will come under this tax slab. So there will always a confusion in the mind of the buyers. Now sorted, whether it is a loose paneer, whether it's a packaged paneer, whether it's a packed milk or it's a unpacked milk, all will fall under the same tax slab. That's how the things will be more sorted. Other procedural reforms. So beside the GST cuts, the council approved procedural reforms through streamlined registration. Now the registration of the commodities and the return filing is more streamlined. Provisional refund mechanism, especially for inverted duty claims, and implementation of goods and service tax appellate tribunals to expedite appeal resolution and reduce litigation. So they are all the, these all processes are become more streamlined. So that is also advantage. Okay, boost to process. So why there is a need, as I told in the beginning or in the previous portion also, why most of the agriculture commodities are falling under the reduced tax slab of 5%? Because we want to boost our food processing sector. If our food processing sector will be at a good hype, what will happen? We are capable of exported these commodities to the other countries, and that's how it will help in improving our economic conditions as well. Okay, so economic conditions of the country will be improved, and when this sector will boost, what kind of positive results we will get? It will improve the consumption, it will increase the consumption of these commodities. Investment, when the demand of a specific commodities will increase, the supplies need to be increased. So the investment will be more and the output will be more as well. Okay, and when a specific sector will get a good boost, you need more employees to work under this sector. So that's how the employment opportunities will also get a good rise. Income level for the farmers and the food processors will also increase because now these commodities are about to sell. Now the farmers don't need to wait, or there is not a concept like mehenga hai mehenga. The things will be available to all the rural households and all the households of the country at the good prices. Okay, so that will increase the income of the farmers and the food processors as well. Now I'm giving you a table. Okay, this is you need to learn. Okay, you don't need to learn the rates of the agriculture machines that we had discussed, but you need to go through this table. Okay, I'm giving you the details of this table. Now the ultra high temperature milk, earlier it was coming under 5% tax slab, now it is under 0 tax slab. Milk and cheese will not fall under any tax slab, but the condensed milk, okay, earlier it was at 12% tax slab, now it will fall under 5%. So that makes milk and paneer, they are not under any tax slab. Okay, almonds, earlier they were under 12%, now they are under 5%. You can see there. You can see there now most of the agriculture and the farm commodities, their tax slab is reduced to 5%. Earlier, they were coming under 5%, 12%, 18%, but now there is more uniformity. So that's how new tax rates, new GST tax rates are very beneficial to the farmers and the rural commodities. Okay, here you can also see. So just give me a minute. Let me tell you one thing. Earlier, the plant-based milk drinks ready for direct consumption as beverages, they are coming under 18% tax slab. Ice creams and other edible ice, whether or not containing cocoa, 18%. Soaps, soups and broth and preparation, therefore homogenized composite food preparation under 12% tax slab. Okay, and here also you can see the pastries, chocolates, sugar confectionaries, or malt beverage, whether or not roasted, they're all under 18% tax slab. Now they're all coming under 5% tax slab. So this is all about today's very, very important session. Here I am ending the session for now. Aspirants, you can get the notes of this class if you have this Oliveboard application with you. Okay, there are the free notes available to you. And this is a NABARD Grade A 2025 batch available for your preparation on the application of Oliveboard. You can be the part of this batch, and you should also mention in the comment box is the things are clear to you or not. Okay, I'm ending the session for now. Bye-bye and take care.